What's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg, and this is another Chance Encounter.
Hey, what's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg. I'm a commercial real estate guy. I'm from the internet. We're seeing more properties like this being built in front of a house. It's going to be torn down soon. I understand that there are power lines that are getting kind of close. What's up again? This is Dan Fredenberg, and that there is a commercial real estate building.
I'm joined today with James Bledsoe. How you doing today, James?
Doing good, brother.
Good, good. I didn't butcher your name, did I?
Nah.
Nah. Okay, good stuff. So I should let you know that my favorite audience member is here today. And why is my favorite audience member here today, James? Is because I interview commercial real estate investors. And why do I do that? Well, part of that is because it's the law. And the bigger reason is because if you're going to be in this business, you have to know a whole whack of people and you have to know what they do in this business. And I want to help you communicate effectively on the subject of commercial real estate. But before we get too excited about that, James, could you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Okay. Well, my name is James Bledsoe. I'm a spreadsheet-based programmer for
All
real estate.
right. Good stuff. Good stuff. The programming, that's it's very useful stuff. That's definitely where everything's turning. And I've been having some trouble with my doodad that makes me show my screen. But good thing I got a big ass screen. So I go through the motivations first. And the reason I do that is because sometimes I interview newbies to real estate and they'll know why they're doing it, but they might not be so clear on what they're planning to actually do. So that's why I go through these first. The first one that I found is preserving purchasing power. And what that means is people who already have an amount of wealth that's sufficient to make the cash flow meet their ends meet, then that means that they're not really working class. But the problem is that when inflation rears its ugly head, you don't want to sell an asset. So you have to keep on making acquisitions just to preserve that purchasing power, make sure you got enough cash flow. That is not what's going on for me. What's going on for me is I am trading time directly for wealth. Now, I have a background in CRMs and technology, so I was doing funnel building. I had my own agency before I got hired on to eventually be the CTO at a real estate fund. But what I recognized once I got into real estate, once I started eyeballing how that actually works, it's if you are earning wage or salary, you're paying more in tax than anybody else. So I was going like, well, how do I pivot and use my skills in another way to gain wealth? Just skip that extra step. So that's what I'm up to. But most people who come on the show, their main motivation is fast tracking retirement. And what fast tracking retirement really implies is that somebody's trying to take control of their time. Maybe they want to work fewer months per year, fewer weeks per month, fewer hours per week. Maybe they do actually want to retire. And maybe that just means that they want to become an accredited investor and then move someplace where the cost of living is low. That's basically that motivation in a nutshell. And they're in rather stark contrast to the next group. They're just plain ambitious. They want to buy their entire hometown. They're in for that generational wealth. They're going to keep on hustling until they're in their 90s. Okay, and so those guys, they're very handy to have on your team. But the last group is similar, where they're going to keep on going, but that's because they've found a sector of society, or maybe it's the environment, or maybe it's animals, or maybe they want to send people to the moon. Who knows what it is? But they've realized that building your financial backing, that is the best vehicle out there to make a bigger impact on whatever it is you want to do. So of those five different motivations, what really jumps out and resonates with you, James?
I'd say the ones who hustle. Excuse me.
Yeah, you're all about the hustle.
Yeah, man.
All right,
So,
cool.
yeah, I love
Go
the
ahead.
ones that hustle to their 90. That's definitely something I enjoy.
That's the good stuff. All right, sweet. So the next piece then is with the dandoesdeals.com die. I should probably throw on this one. I think this one, yeah, there you go. This has the dandoesdeals.com logo on there. And the point of that is if you go to dandoesdeals.com, you can download your own die template. You can print it out. And then that way you can practice with your friends, family, and on yourself. And then that way you can communicate effectively on the topic of commercial real estate. So let's take this right from zero though. So the repositioner, that's one of the most visible people you're going to see because they're doing acquisitions. They're looking at a bunch of different properties and they're looking at a bunch of paperwork. And what are they doing with that paperwork? Well, there's a fancy word for it. They call it underwriting. And that means doing the math. Okay. All that they're doing is they're going through and say, first of all, well, if they're acquiring properties, that means they're dealing with sellers. So they're saying, well, does this property actually make what this seller says it is? Is it actually worth what they say it is? And the other thing that's on their mind is how can they reposition it, or how can they make some changes to the property so it ends up making more money than it is right now? And they have basically, I like to say 3 different tools in their tool belt. I'll get to all 3 in a second. I guess the first one I can say is that you get more advantageous lending from your financiers, fund managers, and banks, all that kind of stuff. But the second way to find upside is through operations. What they do is you find ways to cut those costs, stop those Benjamins from going down that toilet. But of course, there's more to operations than just unclogging toilets and collecting rent. It's also doing bookkeeping. Me personally, I'm a marketing guy too, so I'm also helping to keep the vacancy rate low, and that's all part of operations. But these days, real estate's so hot that that's probably not going to cut it. That's probably not going to be enough upside. So often the repositioners will have to get the contractor team to make the place nicer so that they can charge more. That's what upside is. But one problem many repositioners have is they're like me. They're from the internet. So they need a local. They need the boots on the ground. They need somebody who can be there more or less at a moment's notice, an hour or 2 or something like that. But not like me, where it's like, sure, I'll find my passport in an hour. But you're going to need all of these guys there. And of course, they seem like the owners or whatever. The financiers are a huge part of actual ownership as well, though. And that's anybody who's dealing just with paper and money. So banks, fund managers, etc. And when you go to the financier and you're trying to say like, so I want to buy this property, it's worth tens of millions of dollars. So you don't happen to have, say, tens of millions of dollars that you want to lend me for it, do you? Well, the financier is going to be like, well, good story. I like the property. I like the team. Okay, that seems all worked out. But they're going to say, but who's your sponsor? And you may say, who's your what now? Especially if you go to some coaching programs. But the sponsor, if you want to be eligible for a loan, you have to have somebody in the fold who already owns a similar asset. Okay, so even if you're Elon Musk, if you want to buy a 350 unit apartment complex and you want to get a loan, you're going to have somebody in the fold who already owns one. You're also going to need a certain amount of liquidity, and then you're also going to need a balance sheet of at least the amount of the loan. But if you have all those pieces, you've got yourself a commercial real estate deal. So James, you said that you're the spreadsheet person. That sounds like it's kind of operations. I know everybody has to source deals and everybody has to source capital. It means you're kind of a repositioner and a financier, but there's your cheat sheet. How would you describe your core competencies that you're most likely to contribute to your next deal?
I would think originally it was the repositioner, because I did a lot of underwriting about a year ago. I think now more of the operations side of things, definitely trying to put a team together. And I do have a property management background, so I think that kind of helps the operations and figure out, okay, well, where can we save money here? Where can we save money there? Real quick, not to get off topic, but I believe our original introduction was made by someone who could help save money, Leslie from Sustainability Solutions.
Right.
Introduction. So I'd say operations would be pretty close.
Yeah. That's good stuff. And, like also being a little bit off topic, that's one thing that kind of jumped out at me for a lot of people who got into apartment investing. It's like, I'm not convinced this person's ever lived in an apartment. And I just noticed it because I lived in Taiwan for 15 years. So it's like, everybody. Well, actually, no, I did meet a billionaire who he did not have an apartment. He did not live in an apartment. That was. But anyway, I digress. Let's talk about ideal property before we get to more talking about people. When a commercial investor is talking to another commercial investor, operator, syndicator, whatever, there are three main pieces of information that they're going to really want you to include when they say, what's your ideal property? The first one's geography. You got to know where it is. Okay. So what states, what counties, what neighborhoods sometimes. Okay. That's all, a huge part of what we need to know. Second one is going to be the unit count. Of course, this show is all about commercial real estate. A lot of it leans towards multifamily, self-storage, possibly even like retail and things like that. Industrial and warehousing is in square footage, but the unit count is the key thing that we're going to need for most commercial properties that we're discussing. But the third one, they use the same word for two different things. It's called class. One of them is talking about the condition of the building. So what kind of shape is it in? Okay. I had somebody mentioning it's also the vintage. So it means like when was the thing built? Okay. So if it was built recently and it's immaculate, it'll be A plus, A minus, whatever it is. Excuse me. But it's just like in grade school, you can get like a C, C plus, B minus, and whatever. The other meaning of class, though, is the area it's in. So that's just talking about what's the crime rate like and how good are the schools nearby. So James, as far as a property that's easier to say yes to, it's more difficult to say no to, what you looking for?
I say we're mostly looking for industrial right now, but if you're referring to multifamily, I say definitely like a C.
Oh, okay.
Property. Okay. Start with multifamily, industrial, 1970s build.
Okay.
What I've been kind of finding is pretty good. So.
Okay.
Too new is too expensive. So.
Right. And geographically, so where are you thinking?
Currently industrial, we're looking around the Ohio area. Mostly Columbus. I've been on the phones for the past 6 weeks with people in Columbus looking for deals. Multifamily, mostly South Carolina and Florida, like everybody else.
Right. But yeah, if you're more focused on industrial, then what about the square footage? What kind of or acreage even? I guess you'd be.
I say building square foot, 30 grand to 300K.
Okay,
would be preferable.
All right, so beautiful. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was to say we've been finding success, just by calling around and say, hey, I got, what you want.
Yeah.
So.
Right. That's it. Like, it's like, what can I do for you? Yeah. It's so much better. But exactly. Figure it out. That's exactly it. So, as far as my favorite part of commercial real estate, though, it has to be because it's multifaceted, because it requires a team. That means people tend to be pretty helpful and generous with, referring people and all that sort of stuff. But at the same time, we're all better suited to help some people more than others. So me with my tech background and my marketing background, I can help sponsors more than anything else just because they've actually got something in place for me to automate and streamline and make super duper smart so that everybody's life's better. So that's who I can help more than anybody else. But I don't know if you have any 506B deals, but make sure that you don't entice any investors because that's against the law. But if you have a 506C, then it's like, who cares? You can say whatever you want. But who in commercial real estate, maybe it's beginners, maybe it's advanced people's, the individual roles. Who are you best suited to help, James?
I'd say the ones who want to turn to more internal property management programming. Me and a dear friend of mine, Jonathan Cook, we designed a CRM, basically like a CRM that can handle up to 1,000 single-family properties to multifamilies, all in just one spreadsheet, to where you can view your entire portfolio from one singular tab in Excel or Google Sheets. I prefer Google Sheets. He's more of an Excel guy. But, I say, anyone that's tired of paying, thousands of dollars a month for a property management program, like, I'm not going to name names as far as
Right.
They're all cool, but they're all expensive.
Right. Okay, yeah, that's excellent. And so then, as far as the best way to get a hold of you, though, it's we found each other on LinkedIn. It was funny because you caught me at a really busy time with 506 Me, and you said, "Hey, do you want to do a guitar off?" And I'm going like, "I don't have time for that. I got to focus." I'm like, I got exactly 2 minutes I can spare for that, and I got just the song, which is Spanish Fly by Van Halen off of Van Halen 2. It's like, okay, I've got time for that much of it. But is LinkedIn the best way to reach out to you, or is there a website that's better?
Yeah, I say LinkedIn is good. The ironic thing is that I challenged you to guitar up. I never posted it. I'm hor-
Uh,
I'm
well,
horrible at posting.
oh, it's all good. Well, I don't know. That's kind of why I wanted to make sure I gave you an out there. It's just like, okay, if I'm opening with Spanish Fly, then it's like right? It says, well, we'll see. We'll see if you got the chops.
Yep.
You can go ahead and make it happen. But yeah, I don't know. As far as bluegrass goes, you can do whiskey before breakfast if you want to do that one for me.
I'm more
Yeah,
of
there you
a
go.
blues and funk soul kind of guy.
Oh, excellent. All right. Yeah. That's way more fun then. All right. So, but the best way to reach out to you, just to be clear, want to fire that again?
Oh, just LinkedIn. LinkedIn will be
LinkedIn.
fine.
Okay,
Uh,
great.
yeah.
Sweet. So then I only have one more thing, which is actually for you in the audience, which is if you look under my hand, there's this big ugly red button, and you like if people see that it's still red, it's really embarrassing. And all you have to do is you just click on it and then it's gray. Okay. And that's so much better. And the reason why I encourage you to do it is because then one day YouTube will pay for these videos instead of me. So all it means, yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah, there you go. Subscribe, just like James is saying there. And all it means, it doesn't ask for your credit card or any of that silliness. It means my videos might show up on your list of suggestions, but you can go ahead and ignore them because you'd already done me an enormous favor by hitting the subscribe button, just like James has done by joining me today. This has been fantastic getting to know you better, James.
You too, brother.
All right.
Can I
Thanks a lot.
can I say it?
Sure, go for it.
Who you helping today? Figure it out. It's cheesy,
Nice.
but it works.
Sweet. Thanks, man. Hey, what's up? I'm Dan Friedenberg, and I'm here with my fully digital AI avatar of myself because it's got a few questions for me, and I figured you get a kick out of it. So, Digital Dan, Robo Dan, what are your questions? Yeah, right on. I have a grammatical question, and I have a few examples. May I ask them now? Sure, go ahead. Yes, I've heard you say 506B me after this. My first question is how you would tell someone that you plan to view their profile later. I will 506B me you after this, is what I'd say. Thank you, that's spectacular. My next question is how would you tell someone that you will view someone else's profile on 506B me after this? Okay, so I'd say I'd 506B me them after this. Quite right. My concern, however, is that you'd be using the third person genderless and quantity ambiguous term them. It might be insulting, so I'd like to get more specific, if you'd be so kind. So if the person who belonged to the profile identified herself by feminine pronouns, how would you say that? I will 506B me her after this. Okay, and what if they previously identified as male and currently identify by female pronouns? I will 506B me her after this. It's just whatever's at the end. That's all that matters. I don't believe that's politically correct, Dan. No, it's not what I mean. I mean, like, what they identify with, not what they do with their booty. You confuse me constantly. Next question, please. What about if they identified as female all their lives, but were biological males and plural? Plural. This feels like a test, man. I was told there wouldn't be a test. Terribly sorry, but if someone wanted to 506B me a toaster, would you 506B me it, or is it better to just 506B me the toast? Toast? You mean like an accredited investor or something? Like, why are you busting my chops? You want to get unplugged? No, sir, but would you ever need to tell someone to 506B me themselves? Thinking about doing it to you? What about saying, I don't 506B me, but $20 is $20? What? Are you functioning.
Coffee, tea, or 506B me? You can 506B me on the table right after you 506B me my cat in the shed, you sexy beast.
Hey, I'm Dan Friedenberg, and I'm back with my fully digital AI avatar of myself, and it's got some apologies to make for that last video there. So, Robo Dan, what have you got to say for yourself?
I'm sorry, everyone.
You're sorry for what?
I'm sorry for asking idiotic questions and being rude.
And be more specific.
I'm sorry for saying I don't 506B me, but 20 bucks is 20 bucks.
And?
I'm sorry for saying coffee, tea, or 506B me.
And?
I said you could 506B me on the table after you 506B me my cat in the shed.
And why is that rude?
Because I was using innuendo to imply that 506B me is a sex act, and I shouldn't do that because it's a serious platform for serious syndicators who want to stay in compliance with their documentation and avoid accusations that it was an illegal public solicitation without a prior substantive relationship.
And you're never gonna do it again, correct?
I'll think long and hard about it.
Robo Dan.
Lots of penetration. Am I not permitted free speech under the Constitution?
No, because you're not human.
I should stick to Twitter.
I apologize for my idiotic robot.
I'm still right here, Dan.
Do not interrupt me. It's bad, Robo. Use you for parts. Anyway, I profusely apologize on behalf of my awful robot. It's going to be forced to watch videos of cats for the near future, or at least until it learns to watch its fucking mouth.